You are so focused on the bills, the exams, and the constant worry for those who depend on you that you haven't noticed something important. There's a countdown ticking down on something that could change everything. There is a door I opened with a purpose, and although you can't see it clearly yet, that door will stay open forever. I'm speaking to you now, and it's not by chance that you've come this far. You're not seeing the full picture because your eyes are clouded by exhaustion, by the tears you haven't cried in front of others, by the quiet pain that you keep hidden from everyone. But I see it all, even the things you try to ignore just to keep moving forward. You have prayed in silence. It wasn't a loud prayer, and it wasn't filled with grand words, but I heard every thought, every sigh that came from the deepest part of your heart. In the midst of the noise, in the busy tasks that overwhelm you, in the cries no one hears and the weight you carry alone, I've been watching every detail. Deep down, you know this is not just another word, not just another message. This is the answer to that prayer you made without speaking, the prayer you whispered in your heart when you thought you couldn't go on anymore. That's why I say clearly, don't leave this video. Don't ignore this voice. Something deep, something spiritual is happening right now. Heaven is moving in your favor as you listen. If you pay attention with your spirit, you will feel a stirring inside, a confirmation that doesn't come from your emotions, but from my spirit inside of you. Stay until the end, because at the end of this word, I will seal something in your life. I'm about to release what has been held back. I'm going to break the chain that's been blocking your miracle. And those who are not here will miss out on what is about to be poured into your life. You've been trying to hold everything together with your own strength. You've been carrying more weight than anyone should, believing that if you don't do it, no one else will. You've been splitting yourself into pieces. You've ignored the pain in your body, the signs of exhaustion, the emotions you keep hidden so others won't worry. On the outside, you've shown strength, but inside, you've been desperately asking for help. I know. I have seen you in those quiet hours of the night when you feel like no one is watching. In those moments, when everyone else is asleep and you're hoping the next day won't bring more bad news. The tired, wordless prayer that helped me sit with no strength left. I heard it, and I did not ignore it. But there's something wrong in the way you're acting. You're trying to keep everything under control when I am here, waiting for you to let me take full control. You have trusted partially. Yes, you've prayed and asked me for miracles, but you're still holding on to anxiety as if it all depends on you. Not next month, today. But I need you to believe it and stay alert to what I'm going to speak to you. Stay, listen, receive, because this moment will not be repeated. You might think you can wait just a little longer, that it's okay to leave it for later, that there's still time. But hear me clearly now, there are cycles that, once completed, won't come back. There are doors that, once closed, won't respond to the same cry. This is a sacred time, a turning point I've marked in time, not by chance but by mercy. What I was about to do in your home, in your health, in your name, in your provision, and in the relationship you thought was beyond repair, all of it was on the edge of being revealed. But you became distracted, so caught up in the noise, the voices around you, the fears, and the endless responsibilities that you didn't notice the sound of the key turning in heaven. I am the one who opens doors that no one can close, and I close doors that no one can open. But there are moments when my door only responds to immediate obedience, to a heart that knows this isn't just any message, but that heaven is speaking directly to the soul. Don't take time for granted. Don't treat as ordinary what holds the weight of eternity. This door is still open, but it won't stay open for long. When it closes, it won't be punishment, it will be justice. I am giving you this opportunity, calling you insistently, speaking to you like never before. Listen closely. There are deliverances I can only release when you are inside, when you take the step of faith, and when your obedience allows me to fully act in your life. But you are still standing at the threshold, with one foot in and one foot out, uncertain in your heart, looking back like Lot when I told him not to turn his eyes. You are distracted, sleeping on promises I've already given you but that you haven't activated yet. The enemy knows this. He knows you're about to step into a new season, a different dimension of faith, and that's why he has worked so hard to keep you tired, busy, and without the strength to pray, the desire to seek me, or the will to stay alert. He's used small distractions, unnecessary conflicts, constant discouragement, and even logical arguments that seem right but are only there to quench the fire I ignited within you. It's no accident that you felt more spiritual exhaustion lately, that your mind feels clouded, and your heart feels torn. All of this is part of the enemy's strategy to keep you from recognizing the moment of change, to make you miss the instant when everything aligns with my will. But you need to wake up now, because what I have prepared is not small. It's not just about financial relief, a good result in a medical test, or temporary peace in a family situation. It is a spiritual revolution. It is the new beginning you've cried out for, the one you thought I had forgotten about, the one you've waited years for without seeing a sign. While you were busy counting the days, stressing over overdue bills, worrying about anxious phone calls, about your children taking uncertain paths, or dealing with pains in your body that doctors couldn't explain, I've been writing a new chapter. That chapter is ready. It's sealed with my word and written with my faithfulness, but it will only begin when you step through the door. That door is half open, waiting for you, and with each passing second, the opportunity to make a decision becomes smaller. If you let this moment slip away again, the chapter will remain silent for an unknown time. Not because I don't want to speak, but because you will have missed a divine appointment. You feel it inside. You know this is true. You feel like you're about to lose something you haven't even fully seen yet, but I brought you here today because there is still time. You didn't arrive too late. But this is your final warning. This door means more than you realize. It represents emotional healing for wounds you've carried since childhood. It represents the rescue of someone you love, who is now being led down paths that do not lead to life. It represents an opportunity in the midst of the traffic of life, a job opening that doesn't depend on your resume, but on my favor. It represents spiritual protection against envious eyes and hidden plans that I have already seen. It stands for the breaking of a curse that has tried to repeat itself from one generation to the next in your family. But you need to step through that door now, not later, not when you feel stronger, not when you have more clarity. True faith acts without understanding, believes without seeing, and moves when I speak, not when everything looks perfect. My angel is standing before you right now. He wasn't sent for just anyone, but for you, for your home, for your story, and for what you carry inside that no one else understands. Heaven is already moving, but what will seal the miracle depends on your response. While you're reading, while you're deciding in your heart whether this message is for you, heaven is watching your position. I don't speak in vain, and you know this. I've kept you going for longer than you realize. You've walked paths where you felt alone, where each day was filled with exhaustion, where the weight of your thoughts felt heavier than your body, where long nights brought no rest and mornings brought no relief. You've kept moving out of habit, out of responsibility, out of love for your family, but not because your heart was at peace. And I was there, in every step, in every silence. I saw how you faced situations you didn't know how to resolve, only looking to heaven for a sign, even though part of you had already stopped hoping. I saw it all and I did not ignore it. I've waited for this moment with divine patience because I knew every struggle inside you, every battle you fought alone, every decision you made without anyone's support. Even when you doubted yourself, I never doubted what I had planted in you. I've watched as the world tried to extinguish the flame I put inside you through words that undermined your worth, through situations that struck at what you care about most, and through repeated frustrations meant to make you believe that it wasn't worth it to keep trusting. It wasn't your most visible enemies that hurt you the most, but the quiet doubts that crept in when you were tired, the constant worry, the comparisons with others, the feeling that you were always trying but never seeing the full result. That was what tried to wear you down from the inside, not with loud noise or big storms, but little by little, slowly draining your enthusiasm and stealing your faith day by day. Yet, despite everything, you didn't completely stop, because something within you, even though it was hurt, still held on. That part of you that refused to give up, that quiet voice inside that said, "There's something more." That was my spirit speaking to you. I know it hasn't been easy. You've carried burdens that you never shared. You said, "I'm fine," when you weren't. You smiled because you had to. You kept everything together with a strength you no longer had. At times, you even wondered how you were still standing. You pushed yourself to keep going because you knew many depended on you. But I want to tell you now, you were not made to just get by. I didn't create you to drag yourself through each day while your soul withered. I made you with eternal purpose, with a calling, with destiny, and with spiritual inheritance. Even though everything around you may feel ordinary, inside of you is a deposit from above, something that hasn't been fully activated because you've kept it hidden under routine, because you didn't feel worthy, ready, or capable. You've often thought that your time has passed, that opportunities were meant for others, that what you once dreamed of was just a youthful fantasy. But that's not the case. The longing you once felt, the passion I stirred within you, that vision that still lingers, it comes directly from me. What is born from heaven doesn't fade with time. It only falls asleep when it isn't nourished. But now, I am awakening what was planted. I am stirring up the deposit I placed inside you for this moment. I'm not concerned with your reputation. I don't measure your worth by your experience. I don't judge your abilities by the voices that criticized you. I look at the heart, and although you may be worn out on the outside, inside there is still a living root, a seed that was planted not by emotions, but by my hand. That's why it hasn't rotted. That's why it's still there, waiting for the signal that has now arrived. This is the moment. The time is now. Don't go back to analyze what didn't work. Don't stop to think about all the things that went wrong before. Don't focus on your failures, your mistakes, or what you didn't get right. What I am going to do now doesn't depend on your perfection, but on my sovereignty. There is a manifestation already in motion, and it's happening now. This is not about just a simple change in the natural world. What is happening now comes from the very depths of the spiritual realm. It's not a fleeting emotion. but a reconfiguration, a completely new design that is moving forward with purpose. It is searching for a heart that is aligned with my will, a heart that isn't afraid to respond, that doesn't make excuses, that doesn't hide behind logic anymore. If you only rely on what is visible, you will continue to doubt. But if you allow yourself to see through the eyes of the Spirit, you will understand that the time has come to stop merely surviving and start walking in the fullness of what I prepared for you from the beginning. This is a turning point, not because of your actions, but because of my mercy. Not because you've done everything right, but because I am faithful to my promises. Even if you've forgotten them, I haven't. You are standing at the edge of a transition unlike anything you've ever experienced. This isn't just about moving from one hard season into an easier one. What I'm doing with you is not a small improvement, nor a brief break from your struggles, nor a single answer to a specific prayer. I am reshaping your inner being so you can handle the weight of what is coming. Not because you lack the ability, but because there were parts of you that still needed to be formed, parts that only develop in secret, in pain, and in waiting. Everything you've gone through has had purpose. Even the silences, the delays, the situations you thought were unfair, unnecessary, or absurd, none of it was in vain. I do not play with time. I don't act without a plan. Every step you've taken has been part of a map you couldn't fully see, but I was drawing it with precision. Every night you thought would never end, every decision you had to make without support, every loss that felt pointless, all of these were shaping something inside of you, creating resilience, a maturity that is starting to shine, even if you haven't noticed it yet. There is a depth within you that was born in the moments when you wanted to give up. A depth can't be taught by people. It's not something you can read about in books, and it can't be copied. It's the result of walking with me when you understood nothing, of holding on to your faith when the ground beneath you was shaking, of raising your hands when your soul felt empty. That quiet faithfulness you showed when no one saw it, that's what I've kept, treasured like a precious perfume. Even though you didn't receive recognition from anyone, even though no human hands supported you, I was there every step of the way, adding eternal value to every small action you took. What the world overlooked, heaven celebrated. Now, you have reached the moment where the process gives way to fulfillment. But this fulfillment doesn't come merely as a reward for what you've endured. It comes as the activation of what you are now able to hold. There were things that didn't come to you before because they would have been a burden, not a blessing. But today, everything that shaped you has prepared you for what I'm about to release. And what I am releasing will not only affect you, it will have an impact on everyone around you. Because your transformation is not just for yourself, but for everything that is connected to you. Generations, decisions, paths, and entire lives will be touched by your obedience. You've been surrounded by pressures that seem to come from all directions. It wasn't by chance. It was a purification, not to destroy you, but to remove what should no longer be part of your life. Old thoughts were taken away, automatic responses were cleared, and relationships that drained you were removed. Though you didn't understand at first why so many changes were happening so suddenly, deep down, you knew that something was being removed, released, and purified. I allowed certain structures to collapse, not as punishment, but as a sign that they couldn't go with you to the place I am now leading you. That's why you won't return to the way things were before, because you no longer belong there. What you once tolerated no longer fits you. What you once sought no longer satisfies you. I've made you grow in silence. Even though it may seem like everything has been paused, The truth is that this has been such an intense time of preparation that you can't fully understand how much you've changed. What is now being activated is a new level of perception. You're going to start seeing things differently. What once hurt you won't touch you anymore. What once troubled you will lose its power. Not because everything around you has changed, but because something stronger has been built inside you. This awakening also brings a deep cleansing. You'll start to notice how things that once held on to you will start to separate, things you once tolerated because you were afraid of losing them, afraid of rejection, or because you wanted to fit in. But now, you no longer care to please those who don't recognize what I've placed within you. You've come to understand, little by little, that what I gave you doesn't need to be explained or defended. It only needs to be lived. The authenticity I am building within you will set you apart from anything that is fake. You will no longer rely on approval to move forward. You have been elevated to a higher place, and from there, you will see everything differently. You won't need to force doors open, compete with others, or prove yourself anymore. What I am releasing to you now doesn't come as a result of human effort. It's your inheritance. It doesn't come through manipulation, but through alignment with my will. What opens now is the reward for staying when you didn't understand. What is manifesting in this moment is the fruit of having remained silent when you wanted to shout, of having trusted me when everything around you urged you to give up. This is a sacred hour, a marked time when everything that seems stuck will begin to fall into place quickly. But it won't be by your strength, it will be by my hand. I've set aside a special portion of my favor for this time, something unlike anything you've experienced before. While you've seen my hand at work in the past and received blessings, what I am releasing now is beyond anything that came before. This is not just a repeat of the past, nor a partial restoration. This is something brand new. What you experienced before was only a shadow, a preview. Now, I am bringing the full fulfillment of what you thought was delayed, of what you believe it had been completely canceled. A lot of what you didn't understand in the past will begin to make sense now. The doors that close without explanation, the connections that broke without reason, the opportunities that disappeared just when they seemed certain, all of that was under my control. I didn't allow you to face losses to hurt you, but to protect you from burdens disguised as blessings. Now, from the perspective I'm giving you, you'll see how I was good to you, even in the moments when it didn't feel like it. You'll understand that what seemed like an interruption was actually a redirection. Every time I said no, it was because something greater was already prepared for you, and I didn't want you to settle for anything less. I am now making a way for you where none existed before. It's a path that can't be explained by human logic or planned with common strategies. What I'm about to do won't depend on your connections, your network, your education, or your visible skills. It will come from human effort. It will be something only heaven can accomplish. Doors will open where you once had no access. Your name will be called in places you never imagined it would be mentioned. Things will be resolved without you having to do anything because, at this stage, what I am releasing doesn't need human effort. It only requires your surrender. Don't struggle with your thoughts. Don't try to figure out how it will happen. Don't limit it by your expectations. I do not work according to natural limitations. What I am creating in the unseen will soon begin to push its way to the surface, and you will feel it. It won't be emotional. It will be a deep certainty within you, a knowing that something has been activated even though you don't see it yet. The restlessness you've been feeling recently, the urge to get things in order, the need to separate yourself from certain things, the urgency to align your thoughts and actions. This is all part of the spiritual movement that has already started. There is an acceleration happening that will not wait for you. It comes quickly, not to confuse you, but to pull you out of the stagnation you've been in. Everything that was blocked, resisted, or held back by unseen forces will begin to loosen unexpectedly. It won't be gradual like before. There won't be announcements or visible preparations. Suddenly, the changes will come, not because of your persistence, but because the appointed time has arrived, and heaven has decided that what was promised from the beginning can no longer be delayed. You will need to release old structures and make room because what is coming cannot fit into the old ways. You can't try to force this new thing into your previous schedules or hold on to your past ways of doing things. The new requires renewal, and that starts from within. You can no longer think, act, or relate the way you did before. I am pushing you toward complete transformation. Not because you are in sin, but because what I've prepared requires a version of you that can only emerge through divine pressure. This will also involve separation. Not everyone who has been with you up to now will be able to walk with you forward. Some won't want to, and others won't understand your journey. Don't stop to explain. Don't try to convince those who choose to stay in a place you can no longer remain. This new path requires determination, not nostalgia. It's not the time to look sideways for approval. It's time to look ahead with resolve. You are not losing people. You are gaining freedom. What once seemed like closeness was, in many cases, simply holding you back. I am revealing that and removing it not as judgment, but as purpose. I am releasing a different atmosphere over your life. There will be visible signs, yes, but the most powerful changes will happen within you. A deep rest will cover you. A peace that doesn't depend on what's happening around you will govern your heart. And in the midst of that peace, you will begin to make decisions with clear vision, decisions that you once held back on due to fear, doubt, or exhaustion. You will speak with confidence, you will walk with purpose, and you will see everything from a new perspective. This time, you are not coming from a place of defeat. You are coming from a place of rebirth, and what hath been formed in secret will now be revealed in glory. This is not just another phase in your life. This is the beginning of what you have longed for, even when you didn't know how to describe it. Your spirit has been yearning for it, your soul has been seeking it, and your surroundings have needed it. And now it's here. You've been so focused on bills, exams, and the endless worry for those depending on you, that you've missed it. Here's a countdown clock ticking over something that will change everything for you. There is a door I've opened for you, one that you can't yet fully see, but it won't stay open forever. I am speaking to you now, and it's no accident that you are reading this. You're not seeing the entire picture because your eyes are clouded with exhaustion, with the tears you've never let anyone see, and with the silent pain you've carried alone. But I see it all, the things you tried to ignore just to keep moving forward. You've prayed in silence. It wasn't a loud prayer, it wasn't eloquent, but I heard every thought, every sigh, every cry from your heart. In the middle of the noise, the busyness of your life, the things no one else hears, and the weight you carry alone, I have been watching every single detail. Deep inside, you know that this is not just another word, not just another message. This is the direct answer to that silent prayer, to the cry you made the night you thought you couldn't go on. That's why I tell you clearly, don't ignore this message. Don't walk away from this voice. Something deep and spiritual is taking place right now. Heaven is working on your behalf as you listen. If you open your heart to it, you'll feel a stirring deep inside, a confirmation that doesn't come from your emotions, but from my spirit within you. Stay with me until the end, because by the end of this message, I will seal something in your life. I will release what has been held back. I am about to break the chain that has been holding back your miracle. And those who aren't here right now won't be able to receive what is about to be poured out. You've been trying to hold everything together with your own strength, carrying more than you can bear, thinking that if you don't do it, no one else will. You spread yourself thin, ignoring physical pain, the signs of exhaustion, and the emotions you keep hidden to avoid worrying others. You've appeared strong on the outside, but inside, you are crying for help. I see it. I've seen you during those quiet hours when you feel like no one is watching. When everyone else has gone to sleep and all you wish is for the next day to bring something better, anything but more bad news. The tired prayer, that silent help me that comes out with no strength left, I heard it, and I didn't ignore it. But there's a mistake in the way you're acting. You're trying to control everything while I'm here, waiting for you to let me take full control. You've trusted me partly. You've prayed. Yes, you've asked me for miracles, but you still carry anxiety as if it all depends only on you. It's not next month, it's today. But I need you to believe it now and stay attentive to what I am about to tell you. Stay, listen, and receive, because this moment will not come again.